Jack Thompson stood quietly on the shoreline of his private island. Across the water, dozens of brand new cabins were rising into the sky. The HOA believed they had finally won the biggest project in the county. Only Jack knew they had built every cabin on land he legally owned. 5 years earlier, Jack quietly purchased a forgotten island at a public auction. Very few people even noticed the sale. He carefully stored every legal document inside his office safe. Then, he patiently waited for the right moment. Months later, developers partnered with the local HOA to build a luxury cabin community. Karen proudly announced the ambitious lakeside project. Construction crews arrived with heavy equipment. No one bothered to verify the property's true ownership. Day after day, the island transformed into a massive construction site. New roads appeared across the red soil. Wooden cabin frames covered nearly every section of land. Jack quietly watched everything from across the lake. Neighbors wondered why Jack never interrupted the construction. Some believed he had already sold the property. Others assumed the HOA had permission. Jack simply smiled and stayed patient. Nearly every cabin was finally completed. Luxury docks stretched into the Blue Lake. The HOA celebrated what they believed was a huge success. Jack quietly opened a folder marked Original Deed. Jack contacted his attorney the very next morning. Every legal document had been preserved perfectly for years. County land records confirmed the island belonged to him. The case was ready before anyone expected it. When Karen received the court notice, she laughed confidently. She believed the lawsuit had no chance. Her team insisted every permit had been approved. They never imagined what the records would reveal. The courtroom quickly filled with reporters and local residents. Everyone wanted to witness the high-profile property dispute. Jack entered carrying only one leather folder. Its contents would soon change the entire case. Jack calmly placed the original deed before the judge. The courtroom became completely silent. Karen's confident smile slowly disappeared. The truth was finally about to be revealed. The judge carefully examined the original deed and every county record. Each page confirmed the island had legally belonged to Jack for years. The courtroom grew quieter with every document presented. Karen's legal team suddenly realized the case had taken a dramatic turn. Karen's attorney argued that construction permits had been properly approved. Jack's lawyer calmly explained that permits never replace legal ownership. The judge listened closely to both sides. Every word carried enormous weight. The county surveyor was called to testify under oath. He displayed official maps dating back several decades. Every property line matched Jack's deed exactly. There was no room left for doubt. Karen quietly reviewed the evidence one final time. She finally understood the seriousness of the mistake. Months of construction had happened on land Jack legally owned. The confidence she once had completely disappeared. Jack remained calm throughout the entire hearing. He never celebrated or mocked anyone in the courtroom. He simply trusted the legal process to reveal the truth. His patience impressed everyone watching. After reviewing every piece of evidence, the judge announced his decision. The original deed clearly established Jack as the lawful owner. The courtroom fell completely silent. Everyone waited for the final ruling. The court ruled that Jack's ownership rights were fully protected by law. The cabins had been built on his private property without proper ownership. The judge emphasized the importance of verifying land records. Justice had finally been served. Reporters rushed outside to cover the remarkable court decision. The story quickly spread across the entire county. People admired Jack's patience and professionalism. It became one of the biggest local news stories of the year. Jack thanked his legal team for their hard work and dedication. Years of careful record-keeping had protected his property rights. Preparation had made all the difference. His quiet confidence never faded. Karen accepted the court's decision with professionalism. She admitted that important ownership records had been overlooked. The experience became a valuable lesson for everyone involved. Respect for property rights came first. Jack returned to the peaceful shoreline of his island. The lake reflected the evening sky in perfect silence. He looked across the cabins with quiet satisfaction. Patience had protected everything he worked for. Neighbors congratulated Jack on protecting his family's property. Many admired the calm way he handled every challenge. His story became an example of patience and preparation. The entire community respected him even more. The cabins remained standing as a reminder of one important lesson. Every successful project begins with verifying ownership. Careful planning prevents costly mistakes. The community would never forget the case. Jack quietly placed the original deed back into its leather folder. One simple document had protected an entire island. Sometimes the strongest victory comes through patience and the law. He smiled as the sun slowly disappeared beyond the lake. Jack walked home knowing the truth had finally prevailed. His patience, preparation, and respect for the law made all the difference. Sometimes the quietest person in the room holds the strongest evidence.